Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cryptonews Weekly Roundup. Matt, Zahab, and Rachel Wolfson here. Super pumped to have you guys on the road with us again. It's been a crazy week. I can't wait to get right into it. Rachel, how are you doing on this lovely afternoon?
Yeah, cool. Good to see you, Matt. I'm doing great. Hope everyone out there is doing great as well. And it's been a crazy week, and you're going to kick us off with the craziest news of the week.
Biggest news of the week is, of course, the one and only Ethereum ETF. It finally popped on July 23rd. We absolutely love to see that. We now not only have the Bitcoin ETF, but we have the Ethereum ETF. And later on in the show, we're going to be talking about a Solana ETF. But before we get into the ETF, one of the biggest and most important parts of the segment and the show is, of course, price action. Last week, we had a good week. This week, it started off really well and then sort of fell down the toilet a little bit. Started off the week strong. Bitcoin hit high 60s towards the latter half of the week, went back down. BTC and ETH both dipped, triggering 250 million in liquidations. This seems to happen far too often, Rachel. Bitcoin sitting at around 64K while ETH is around 3.1. But again, the big news, the ETH ETF was July 23rd. How incredible was that?
Yeah, I definitely was watching crypto Twitter, crypto X that day to get everybody's reactions. It was incredible. It's happened. I thought that Biden stepping out of the race was going to impact the trading of the ETH ETFs, but obviously it didn't. Everything happened on July 23rd, and it seems to be going well.
It was smooth sailing. Really good point about the Biden thing, too. A lot of people thought that might put it on ice, but no, the show went on. And just a couple numbers on the ETF. On the first day, the ETF cracked $1 billion in trading volume, which is absolutely incredible. You have all the big dogs on board: BlackRock, Bitwise, Fidelity, Grayscale, Franklin, VanEck, 21 Shares, Invesco, and Grayscale. And combined, they did, again, over $1 billion. Huge, huge, huge news and a massive victory for the space. And Rachel, you wrote an amazing article about the one and only loudmouth Canadian boy, Kevin O'Leary, who rather had some really interesting news on the ETF as well.
Yeah, so I spoke with Kevin a few days ago for Crypto News, got some really good insights from Kevin. Everybody should check out the article, but basically he was saying that he doesn't think the ETH ETF will be the index preference, that it won't overtake Bitcoin ETFs. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, we've seen over $1 billion dollars in inflows with the ETH ETFs, but I don't know if that is anywhere near what we saw with the Bitcoin ETFs when those began trading. Matt, do you know?
No, you're bang on. It wasn't. I don't even think it was close. Another really good point about the ETF, and I forget who said this, but Bitcoin is a lot easier to fathom and understand than Ethereum is, right? The whole notion and narrative of digital gold and reserve currency and store of value. It's a lot easier to sort of conceptualize and look forward to in regards to Ethereum, which is more like the digital gas. It's a lot harder for people outside of the space to understand. And furthermore, ETFs are usually for retail and not so much institutions. And again, he's bang on there, which is pretty standard for him. But again, more news on the Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock, highest inflows since March, 7,759 Bitcoins on July 22nd. That's over 523 million at the current prices. Still crazy. I got to kick it over to you. Have you seen any of the ETH ads yet? Do you remember when the Bitcoin ETF went live and we were seeing ads everywhere? Have you seen any ads recently?
I have not, but I think it's only a matter of time. I have been seeing some reports from Grayscale in my inbox about, education around ETH ETFs, the difference between ETH and Bitcoin. I think they're doing a webinar soon. I think it's next week. So there's been some educational content, but I haven't seen any ads yet, Matt.
I love it. Speaking of ETFs, Solana ETF, it hopefully will happen later this year or early 2025. Franklin Templeton is now eyeing a Solana ETF. They dropped hints on X and or Twitter saying that they have significant developments beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. They love its adoption, maturity, and high throughput architecture. Speaking of high throughput architecture, we got to talk about Coinbase, the layer 2, their darling Base. Rachel, you and I have heard about Base for, heck, it seems like 2.5 years now. We've been waiting for this to really pop off. The only sort of real functionality we saw on Base was a bit of, shitcoin season back in February, March, and April, but that's fallen off. But again, big Base news. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Base just deployed fault proofs on the Sepolia testnet. Did I pronounce that right, Matt?
Sepolia, you got it.
Cephalea
Nailed
testnet.
it.
So right now, Base is still in what Vitalik Buterin calls stage zero decentralization. Only Base's centralized Prosper can submit the network state to Ethereum for validation. So Base is pretty excited about this. They're calling it a major step and a crucial launch. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I think it's time. It's been way too long, and Coinbase has the most users, especially in North America, by a country mile. If we can get the users on board, they're going to want an L2 that's super quick, very easy to use, very functional, low friction, and high account abstraction. We've been told Base has all those things. I can't speak on behalf of it as I've used it very little, candidly, just for shitcoins. But if this pops off, this is great. Hopefully this will onboard millions, if not hundreds of millions of people, and we will get to that next step, which really fires me up. Next on the docket, Kamala Harris. She may or may not have released some of her views on crypto and may or may not have turned down an invite to the Bitcoin conference where Trump is speaking. Is this just a rumor, Rachel, or is any truth to this? What do you know about this?
So it could be a rumor. It could be a rumor that she was invited. I mean, it probably is true that she was invited. It could be a rumor that she initially said yes, she would speak at Bitcoin 2024. I think that was circulating around X a little bit, but apparently she declined. I saw an interesting tweet from Tyler Winklevoss, kind of like, saying, well, we don't need her at the conference anyways if she's not pro Bitcoin. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't think she's going to be there. So it's her loss.
Her loss. Oh, what a time to be in Nashville. I'm sure everyone is having a blast. We'll be there next year, folks. Next on the docket, crypto hacks. Unfortunately, I don't like being negative Nancy, but we do need to talk about all the biggest news of the week. Monoswap just got hacked after the massive hack last week. 235 million drained from Wazir X. And again, that was the North Korean hacker group Lazarus. Rachel, is this shit ever going to stop? Pardon my French. I know we're doing the weekly news roundup here, but it boils my blood. It gets me going a little. When is this going to stop?
Yeah, I mean, crypto hacks are on the rise. I know that Chainalysis is doing a lot of work to kind of like track and trace crypto scams and hacks and all of that, but they're on the rise, and I don't think we're going to see a stop to it, especially as crypto gains traction. I think the hackers are going to get more skilled and, better understanding of how to scam people and hack these exchanges. We've got to be on the lookout.
Well said. Very well said. Telegram in the news again. A couple weeks ago, we discussed Telegram's hit game, and they are back. They're sitting at 950 million monthly active users, according to the CEO, Pavel Durov. That is a 50 million person jump since spring. And they are saying that this is due to crypto games. Notcoin, one of the big ones, the simple tap to earn game that had everyone tapping away for virtual coins. Again, really blowing up on Telegram. And of course, we can't forget about Ton, the open network. It's back with a vengeance, fueling this crazy gaming craze. Shout out Telegram. Everyone in crypto loves TG. They keep us connected, and it is the comms app of the crypto sphere. Last thing on the docket, Rachel, I'm throwing this over to your court here. Marathon Digital helping us out again. Big bet on Bitcoin. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, definitely. So this latest acquisition has increased Marathon's Bitcoin holdings to over 20,000 BTC, which are currently valued at approximately 1.3 billion. That's really impressive. So Marathon Digital has expressed intentions to further increase its Bitcoin reserves through additional open market purchases.
It's crazy. And imagine owning over 1.3 billion in Bitcoin.
I can't. I'd be ecstatic. Maybe one day.
Would be quite the show, folks. That is it for this week. Again, the big star of the show this week was the Ethereum ETF. Everyone knew that this was coming out this week, so a lot of companies, I assume, held on to any big releases or anything of the like, and they will be pushing that till next week or the following week. As again, one of the biggest pieces of news this week, the Ethereum ETF. Crazy stuff. Rachel, always a pleasure. Listeners, hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you on the next one.
See you guys next time. Thanks, Matt.